came back from Papua New Guinea, where I had been working for the World Bank for 3 years. And I mentioned that we had run 10 projects there. I was working in regional development for the West Australian government. And we had a project called STEP. The STEP project stood for Small Town Economic Planning. And what we would do, we would facilitate a workshop in a small country town for a project for that town. But before we could run it in that town, we'd have to have permission from the local government council. We'd have to have permission from the Regional Development Commission that cover that area. And we would have to have a local champion of the project. And the idea of the local champion was that they would have to get a group of up to 30 people together to plan a project in that town. And then myself and a small group of others, as facilitators, would go out and run the workshop. And at the completion of the workshop, there was a grant of $15,000 to that community to begin the fundraising or to begin the project that they wanted to do. One of the techniques that we were using, and you can test this out on Google, is called the critical path method. The critical path method, or CPM. The critical path method maps all the tasks necessary from the start to the finish of a project to make it work. And it maps them as circles. And it identifies where in the process does it fit. Is it in the pre-forming stage of the project? The forming stage of the project? The storming stage of the project? The norming stage of the project? The performing stage of the project? Or the transforming stage of the project? It was before we created the words Green Plan, Do, Celebrate. So you identify where do these tasks fit. And then it maps the connections between the different tasks. So which task comes before another task? Some tasks are nodes in the project. A node task is a task that has a number of lines coming into it from other tasks and a number of lines coming out of it. Other tasks are just simple. They have one line coming in and one line coming out. But you continue to map it until all tasks are connected back to the start and forward to the finish. Now, there is a town right in the north of Western Australia. And this town is called Kununurra. And we were doing this small town economic planning project in Kununurra, and I created the critical path method for the participants in this workshop, mapping all the tasks for their project. And there was an old Aboriginal man sitting in the back corner. He didn't say much, he just had a smile. And at the end of the workshop, he came up to me and he took my hand and he led me out into the foyer of the workshop venue. And there, on the wall, is a painting that was almost identical to the critical path. And he said to me, "Thank you. You've given us a modern way of looking at songlines." And so, as a result of that, this method that I'm going to be teaching you now is called a Karrabirdt. Karrabirdt is, you can spell it whichever way you like. These Aboriginal languages were never written down. And what happened was Europeans, when they came to the country, they asked the Aboriginal people for the name of something, and the Aboriginal people would say something, and Europeans would write it down as they heard it. I showed about Pinakari. Is it Pinagari or Pinakari? It depended upon how the European heard it, depended upon how it was written down. The same thing with Karrabirdt. Kara is the Aboriginal word for spider. And the beard is a web. So Karrabirdt is the spider's web. And it's the spider's web that connects the doing, the dreaming, the celebration and the planning together in a unified process. And I want to show you how it's done.